Hey everyone, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener here, and sorry about the lawn mowing noise, but I wanted to get this intro recorded so we can get started on this plum series. If you recall, I started a plum series a little over a year ago, and I made the mistake of taking the germinated seeds out of the paper towel method a little early. The roots were not quite ready for soil, and they perished. And I'll be honest with you, it's taken me several plum seeds to get them to germinate again since that first batch. So I went ahead and put 4 plums in the fridge, left them there for months. And this video will be similar to the last one. I'll go ahead and explain the process of getting the seeds out of the plums and cracking them open, testing for viability, germinating them and all that. We had 2 different plum seeds that actually germinated, and I left them in a little bit longer than normal so that the roots were fully formed and we had some green leaves inside the wet paper towels. All right, guys, these are the 4 plums that I've kept in the fridge intact for about 3 months, longer than they should. Now, this is like a form of stratification, and it kind of simulates what these fruit would go through in the winter. After they ripen, they would fall to the ground. They would go through a little winter process encased in the fruit. As it broke down, the seeds inside, the hard shell, would slowly deteriorate because of the pulp eating away at it, deteriorating, exposing the seed, which would then be ready for germination. Now I'm going to expedite the process here by cutting these up and removing the seeds. I've got a knife here handy. Let me go ahead and cut the seeds from the fruit, and we'll take a look at what the seeds look like right now. All right, guys, you can see the plums are pretty toasty, but I've removed the 4 seeds. The next process is I need to get the seeds that are actually in these shells out. Now you can see there's a lip there, and you got to be very careful. Sometimes when you go to remove the seeds and you crack the shell, you damage the seeds. For me personally, I prefer to take just a little hammer and hammer them long ways like this, and should be able to crack the shell just enough to get the seed out. Now typically I like to dry the shells a little bit to make it crack better. So give me a second. I'm going to take the hammer. I'm going to see if I can remove these seeds without damaging any. And the final process here would be to make sure that the seeds aren't dried up and dehydrated and basically non-viable. We'll test their viability here in a second after I remove them. All right, I've used this little hammer. I've cracked all the shells just ever so gently. We now have 4 seeds right here. They seem to be in pretty good shape. Now the next trick is we need to test them for viability to make sure that they're seeds that are going to germinate, or at least have a good chance of germinating. The way we do that is we're going to put them in a cup of water and ensure that they sink versus float. Let me go ahead and do the next step. Okay, we've got some water here. We drop the seeds in. Give it a little bit of a bounce to get any air bubbles off them. And as you can see, all 4 seeds have gone to the bottom. Therefore, I can assume that at least they're viable and they have a good chance of germinating. Now, I've used a little bit slightly warm water just because the seeds need to be fooled into thinking that it's spring and that the ground is warming up and they're ready to germinate. I'm going to accomplish that even more so by taking a wet paper towel, placing these seeds in it, putting the paper towel in a Ziploc bag, sealing it, and leaving it in a warm, dark place. This will keep it like a mini greenhouse. It'll keep it humid in there. It'll keep it warm in there, and the seeds should germinate in any time between 2 to 4 weeks. I've seen them germinate a little faster, and I've seen them germinate up to 2 months, or taking up to 2 months. So we're gonna have to see. This seeds might be floating a little. No, it's not floating. It had some air on it. We're gonna see how long these take to germinate. Hopefully they will. Let me go and give them the wet paper towel, and I'll show you the next step. All right, we've got 4 seeds on the wet paper towel. We're gonna fold this over like this and gently push it together. And now all we have left to do is put the seeds in the bag, label the bag with today's date, and we will go ahead and let them sit for the next couple weeks. I then transplanted them into cups And, well, anyway, let me go with this camera, turn around. These are still in my indoor grow room. I haven't put them outside. I don't plan on putting them outside this season. We're gonna grow them indoors, and then next season, I'll put them outside. Okay, guys, here's the 2 plum seeds that made it of the 4 seeds that I tried to germinate. 2 didn't germinate at all, and 2 did. And I've got 2 different situations that I'm trying to do here. Let me go to this one first. You can see that I've topped this one. Now, I don't know what it is with store-bought seeds, but sometimes they grow leaves that just look unhealthy like this. They're all twisted and mangled, and that's what this one was doing. So I cut the top of the twisted ones off once I saw that I had a couple of possible side shoots, and it took a while to recover. I'm not going to lie. It took forever for those buds to break and to put out a couple of new branches, but it did. So this is the first one. Doesn't look the healthiest, but I wanted to see what would happen if I topped it early in the game, especially since it didn't look very good. This is the second one. I've not done anything with this one whatsoever as far as topping. I wanted to see what it would grow like, and you can see beautiful looking little sapling right here. Let me bring it down to some better light. Here's a good look at it. You can see this leaf deformation, and that happens with plums and peaches that I grow from store-bought seeds a lot. And typically I cut that leader off after we've got another established leader like you see here. So I'm probably going to top it right where the leaves are not looking good and see what happens. But to any extent, you can see it's doing pretty well. These seeds were started on December 25th, so they're right around 3 months old right now. Looks pretty good for 3 months old, I would say. Again, it's early in the game, and plum seeds can be kind of tricky. We'll see what they do. I'm glad this one's recovering finally, and I'm going to keep this series updated monthly over this whole next year and see how they grow. All right, guys, so that's my plum tree from seed update. They're only about 3 months old, sown December 25th, and we'll get you monthly updates on these throughout the growing season again. Just like before, just like with all the series I have going on. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to tap the little bell icon so that you get notifications when I update my series. Once again, thanks for watching, and as always, happy gardening.